Greetings and welcome to our last KTN webcast for 2024. Thank you to all of those of you who have joined us around the world today, most of which are actually live. So it's an amazing turnout for this close to the holidays, December 20th, Friday, December 20th, as we record this. So I'm Doug Kennedy with Kennedy Training Network. We welcome you to this month's topic, Reservations Quest 2025. First, as always, thank you to our sponsors. And we're super excited to say that as of today, both of our sponsors have re-upped for next year. So if you found out about this webcast by way of Track, a TravelNet solution, or Travel Outlook, please give a shout out to them and thank them for their sponsorship, without which we could not do this. It actually does take some funding to provide the marketing to get the word out and produce this. So Track, a TravelNet solution, a fantastic property management system, but they do so much more with everything from website development, the Track Pulse call and lead tracking system, and I would be remiss if I even tried to sum up their product line, but revenue management, support in the vacation rental industry. Travel Outlook, the premier call center for hotels and resorts. So as always, as we're letting a few moments for our others to join us live, we love to do shout outs. And every time before I start this webcast, I love to go through with Julia, our marketing coordinator, and look at all the people around the world who have signed up for this. And it really helps me because I'm sitting here in my office in the Fort Lauderdale, Miami area, staring at a webcam every month and trying to imagine all of you out there tuning in live or watching us on the replay. Really does help me. So first of all, we see a lot of new people. Hello to Anise from Bay Garden, St. Lucia, Bay Garden Resort. I have a couple of clients in St. Lucia. I've been to Viceroy. I've been to Windjammer, but I've never been to Bay Garden. I would love to come there. The Usual Hotel in Brussels, Moham. Thank you for joining us. Now, here's an interesting one, the Hotel Krajini Ver in Serbia. I'm going to be close to you on vacation in Croatia this summer, and I may be going to Montenegro to do some training here in the first quarter. So if you ever need some on-site training, I'm your guy. We have the U Palm Beach. Kathy, thank you for joining us. Of course, we know all about you since we live here in Fort Lauderdale, but actually I used to do training when the resort there opened as a Ritz-Carlton, was one of my clients before it went to being an independent. White Elephant Megan, super to see you join us, and we would love to come out there in the spring. Kohler Resort in Wisconsin, Anastasia, thank you for joining and checking out what we offer. We have the Sail Rock in the Caicos, so we have Jada, thank you for joining us. The Nautical Phoenix, Megan, hello. Namron, it's wonderful to see Mariana. I know we've talked to Tal and Near a couple of times at the conferences. We would love to do some private training for you folks. Speaking of private training, we have so many clients joining us today. Hazelton, Toronto, Grace, I'll be super excited to see your team in February. Mill Pond up in Saugatuck, Michigan, excuse me for butchering that. Melanie, also Damon, and a whole team there. I hope to see you as well. Stay Lake Norman, Melissa, we'll be talking to you later today, and hopefully you will be a client very soon officially. Compass Resorts, you all always do a huge turnout for us, and we appreciate that. Moose Management, Kim, and Brandon, hopefully you're watching the replay if Kim captures it for everyone. We're super excited to add you for a client out in Park City, and I hope to see you at some point as well. La Quinta Resort in La Quinta, California, PGA West Resort, an amazing resort. You have been a client for 11 years now. So Christina and team, we are excited to see you. Beaver Run Conference Center out in Breckenridge. Jim, just talked to you yesterday. I'll be seeing you in February. We also have some regulars. Diamond, Destin, Austin, and Bailey. I hope you're watching live. It was wonderful to see you earlier this month when I passed by. Biltmore Hotel, Coral Gables, Nicholas, you've been with us almost every webcast this year. The Guest House Graceland. Yeah, the Graceland. Travis, you keep on signing up. Would love to come and visit you for some on-site training. And then another neighbor, Pier 66 Resort. Christine, you are opening the restaurant soon, and I believe the official grand opening is coming up. And finally, we have a couple of GMs today, and I think it is wonderful when our GMs turn out. We have the Holiday Inn Express, Latoya, and we have the Candlewood Suites, Janelle. Both of you are up in the Chicago area. All right, so it is time to get started. We are in today's webcast, we're going to preview our latest edition of our training course, which is called Reservation Sales Quest. Now, this is an on-site course that I do privately, that we fly out, myself and our trainers will fly out, present this for your team. We also present it as a live webcam training where we actually meet with you in small groups, ideally around 8, maybe up to 12, ideally no more than 8. Sometimes it's just 3 or 4 people, and we present the class as a series of 3 90-minute private webcams. And then, of course, we have an online self-study version. But this summer, when all of y'all are either really busy if you're a resort or you're on vacation, like me, after I take my vacation, I come back here to the office and I do a lot of updating. So we updated this class completely for 2025. So we covered parts of Quest and other webcasts, and I will reference those. And at the end, I'll remind you, previous webcasts are available at our KTN YouTube channel. But today we're going to give some of the highlights of what's new for 2025, because the job of reservation sales continues to evolve. Now, as Julia and I were looking through the registrations today, I did see quite a few hotel salespeople on here that you sell in groups, conferences, events, and thank you for joining us. Many of the concepts do apply. Please stay tuned. We're going to, I believe it's going to be March. We're actually finalizing the topic right now, where we are going to come back to sales in general. Today is somewhat specific to selling transient reservations, room reservations, social reservations, as you may call it. But hopefully you'll get a lot out of it and you'll be able to pass it along to others. So first, a simple question: why is the job of reservation sales so important? Now, when I ask this to start my classes, a lot of people say, oh, we're the first impression makers. True. If they don't like us, they don't stay. True. And if they don't stay, you have no check-ins at the front desk. You have no rooms to clean and housekeeping. So literally you are the first impression makers. But let me back up a little bit more and let me ask this question: why does your lodging company exist? Now, I say lodging company because I'm talking about vacation home rental agencies. We have a lot on here today. I'm talking about B&Bs. We have a few on here today. I'm talking about inns. We have quite a few inns. I'm talking about large conference resorts. We have you. We have every kind of hotel resort imaginable. Why do you all exist? And I ask this question at conferences and in classes that I teach, and people go, to serve the needs of the guest, to make the guest happy. And you know, we do often talk about to be a memory factory in our hospitality classes. But why do you really exist? There is only one reason. It is money. We exist to make money. Think about it. Would the owner of the hotel, whether it's a company or a person, would they keep the doors open if it wasn't profitable? Would the owners of the properties you rent in an agency model, for vacation rental agency, would they still keep those properties if they didn't make money? And let me put it another way: would you come to work today if you weren't paid to work? Now, I'm sure you love your boss. Some of you are sitting with your boss right now, and I know you wanna, you would come to work anyway because you love your boss so much, right? Reach over, give him a pat on the back, say, yeah, boss, I would work even if I didn't get a check every other Friday. Yeah, I don't think so. We work for money, okay? And revenue is the currency that powers business. So if you work in reservations, or if you work in hotel sales, or if you work in distribution, you actually work at the power plant that generates the electricity. You know, we call electrical current here in English, in United States anyway, we refer to the electrical current that comes out of the wall that powers all the lights in my office right now. but we also call currency money. If you go to an international airport around the world, you see the booth called the currency exchange. Energy and money are both, electrical current and money are both forms of currency. And you work at the power plant. Without you, and without the group sales, maybe the distribution people, think about how many jobs are reliant on you. Housekeepers, maintenance techs, the operations, accounting. There's nothing to account if we don't generate money, right? All of the jobs rely on you, okay? So speaking of money, what is the most important metric for reservation sales teams to remember? Now I say reservation sales teams, but if you're a smaller property, one call does it all. You answer the phone, you take the reservations. For call-in leads, you answer questions for people who already booked online, by the way, and you check them in. But I'm going to say the reservations team today throughout our webcast. What is the most important metric? And a lot of revenue people love KPIs, we love numbers, we love metrics. But one metric that a lot of people overlook, and I think it is the most important metric, is the potential value of your reservation inquiry every single time when it comes in, whether it comes in by phone or whether it comes in by email or whether it comes in a chat or whether it comes in what I call an in-app message from a OTA or a Vrbo, Airbnb, and somebody's reaching out with a question. Every time that happens, it's an inquiry. And I want you all to think about the money opportunity to generate currency. So I hope you actually get this hard number. And I hope when you do, you put it on a sticker, a Post-it note, or a whiteboard, pretty close to wherever the people sit who take the reservations calls. Okay, the number is right here. It's R divided by B equals ARPB. Take a screen capture if you want. It's actually a really simple number. You take your total revenue for the previous year. Now this would be total reservations revenue. Hopefully, if you're a hotel, you segregate that out of group and OTA. Well, you can include the OTA if you want, because a lot of those OTA bookers do call. But take out your group, take out your contract rate. But if you are mostly a leisure property, just take your total revenue for the year divided by the total number of bookings. So it's revenue for the previous year divided by the total number of bookings gives you average revenue per booking. That is the metric you want to think about. Now, some of you say, oh, but Doug, we're seasonal, we charge. Yeah, but over the course of a year, that's the number you want to look at. Okay, unless you completely shut down in the off season, which looking at the list today, I don't think anybody does that anymore. So some people say, well, our rates are so much higher in the summer, but they're also really low in the winter. Or maybe you're a ski resort, which we have you today. Your rates are higher in the winter and lower in the summer. But most of your business comes when the rates are high. Nonetheless, look at that number for the year. Now, you might be saying, why do I care about that number? Because the reservations team has lots of other work to do besides answer the phones and answer email inquiries. So what do we sit in these offices and doing? A lot, okay? As much as we love AI and tech and automation and integration, we are still far short of the dreams, okay? Pretty easy to say, oh yeah, our system can do that. When you buy a lot of these systems, there's still a lot of human touch involved. So service calls from people who booked online. You got a lot of people who booked online. If you're a hotel, do you know, you probably have some sense of this, maybe you don't actually know your number, but the OTA cancellation rate, from what I hear, ranges from 20 to 40%. Now you might have a few hotels that are a little bit less, you might have some that are more. So when those OTA bookings come and they go and they come and they go, people book online at an OTA, the book now, pay at the hotel option, and then they give a call. That's actually a lead, by the way. You have to do rooms control and blocking of tasks. You have to do manual entry of some online reservations depending on the channel and depending on your property management system. You have to research chargebacks, perhaps. Sometimes that's done in accounting. You have to enter group rooming list and deal with building sometimes. You do admin work for those OTAs. If you're in a vacation rental agency, you've got calls from those who book online as well. Moving reservations when that property becomes unavailable. The owner of that home decides to sell it. The person that owns the condo sells it. You have the owners calling you very often. Why am I not rented yet? And then calls and texts from in-house guests, admin work as well. So a lot is going on, okay? Now, how many of us are at that moment when we're, oh, let me address front desk. If you work at a front desk, like our Holiday Inn or Candlewood Suites that's on us today, some of the small B&Bs and the inns, and I don't know if you've experienced this. I call it the everything happens at once principle. It goes around the world. I've been in 15 different countries training. I think it happens everywhere. It is called the everything happen at once principle because you're standing there at your front desk and nothing happens. And maybe your coworker says, oh, I'm gonna make a quick run for coffee. You want anything? Or I'll be right back, right? At the moment they leave, you're guaranteed everything happens at once, okay? So remember, it's perfectly fine to say, oh, yes, you've reached the front desk. I'm assisting other guests right now. I'd be happy to help you with that. Do you mind holding? It might be a few minutes. Or if I can take your number and I can call you back. Today, people will be so happy they actually got someone there to help them. Many of them are perfectly happy to wait. And if not, they'll say like, wow, you would really call me back. And then when you call back, they'll probably be like, wow, you actually called back. So remember, these are options. But going back to the concept, we have a lot of other work to do, whether you work in reservations, whether you work in a contact center, whether you work at the front desk. You ever notice when you're just about to finish that long email and you're typing the last sentence and you're in what I call the zone when I'm writing? When I'm writing emails, I have orange earplugs and I close my door. And and then invariably, if you get that interruption and the phone rings, do you go, yes, a phone call, because I did what Doug Kennedy said, and I know our average revenue per booking is, I don't know, 500, 1,000, 5,000. Yeah, a lot of you. And the luxury hotels that I see signed up here in the winter in the Caribbean, maybe $10,000 if they're booking a week. Do you go, yes, a phone call, my hottest lead ever? Or do you go, ah? If it wasn't for all these guests interrupting us, we could get a lot more done here in the reservation sales department. So remember, phone calls are opportunities, not interruptions. We should love the voice channel. My article I just submitted for CoStar Hotel News Now, it's going to run in January. If you're not already doing so, I do hope you sign up for my newsletter, or you can follow me on LinkedIn to get it. It's talking about the generationalism of marketing people is holding back the voice channel. They actually go around saying, oh, only old people call because they can't work tech. Now, first of all, I am not exactly that young. I am the tail end of the baby boomers, and I am really good with tech. But I'm going to stick up for the real core boomers, my older sibling. I know I talk about him a lot on these webcasts. This guy is amazing. He's been involved with AI since the day AI come out. He literally built computers, okay? And we all remember the day when you installed a new software. Yeah, you didn't just download an app and click that install button and it starts working. You actually went to Office Depot and bought software in a box in an actual floppy disk and did C:\enter start. So don't discount us. People of all ages call. I just had a client and I was working with them. They're actually a Caribbean resort. Their marketing director said, she was saying, we need to promote the availability of in-house on-site reservations because we're right here and we need to get more calls. People need to know that they can actually call us. They said, well, we don't want to promote that because, nobody calls except those old people. And by the way, all those old people, they're the guests that are already rebooking anyway. So she actually ran a report. I don't want to give away the actual number, but it was only in the mid-teens. The percentage of people that called to make a reservation by phone was in the mid-teens. The rest of them were first timers, okay? So that is your future repeat guest. And so we should love the voice channel. We should recognize the value of the voice channel. It has the highest average daily rate, ADR. It has the highest RevPAG. Okay, you may call it Rev per available customer. You may have a lot of different names we have for this these days, but I call it revenue per available guest. So the book directs, They eat in the restaurant. If you have one, they're gonna hire the private chef. If you offer it, they're gonna take advantage of the activities. Lower distribution costs, fewer complaints. Think about who complains the most online. Is it the book directs? No, it's the OTAs. And you have a stronger connection with your guests and increased loyalty. All right. So again, phone calls are opportunities, not interruptions. Now, what's new in Quest 2025? The big emphasis we have these days is every call being a lead, and that's why I've spent so much time on it. In the past, conversations started with, hi, I need to see about booking a reservation for January. And it was obviously a reservation inquiry. Today, those leads are in disguise. Leads and also textual messages are disguised as, I'll just have a quick question. Okay. Now, we started talking about this at KTN in 2024. We had some of our training clients start asking this question, and I'm going to share with you now for free, thanks to our sponsors, what we want to do differently. And if you do this differently today, starting this today and into next year, you're going to get a lot more inquiry only calls that are actually leads. Okay. So when those people call today and they say, hi, I just have a quick question. I'm shopping online. I was just checking your rates. I don't want to book. I'm just checking your rates. Yeah, I'm just curious. What do you charge there? I was just wondering. Not that I'm ever going to stay there. I'm just sitting here with nothing better to do. I was just wondering. These people are not just wondering. They do not just curious about the rate. They do not just have a quick question. These are leads. All right. So get ready for a screenshot if you want to figure out what to do here. When anybody calls and says, hi, I just have a quick question. How many parking passes can we get? How close to this? How far to that? How's the food in the restaurant? What's nearby? Hey, okay, answer that question. Now that I've answered your question, have you made a reservation with us yet? Now, a lot of people will say, oh, no, that's okay. I'm shopping online. Well, what website are you looking at? Well, I've checked a few different ones, actually. Well, I'm right here with in-house on-site reservations, and I can double check those rates for you right now. Okay, so take a screenshot of that, but you don't have to say the actual words, but the idea is to engage people with questions like, hey, by the way, have you booked a reservation yet? No, I'm going to book online, and I make people in my classes do this now. Wave that red flag. If you are actually in-house on-site reservations, or if you are nearby, or if you're a dedicated reservation agent, you can say, I am in-house on-site reservations. I can help you. Okay. Now, we have some excellent call centers, Travel Outlook being one of them. You don't want to actually say you're in-house if you're not in-house. Sometimes people will ask you, like, where are you? Are you? Is this actually the hotel? Oh, I'm in a different building. Okay. But Travel Outlook does their best to sound like your in-house reservations, which is good. And I think we had some other call center people joining us today. But if you actually are inside, you certainly want to mention that if you're a dedicated agent. Okay. So let them know. Let them know. And it is actually a really good thing when Central Reservations can answer those types of questions. But if you're at Central Reservations, same thing. I have a quick question. Now that I've answered your question, do you have a reservation? No, I'm shopping in line. What website are you at? Well, I've checked a few. Well, actually, I'm Direct Reservations. We can wave that flag too. Okay, and I can check that for you. So what actually happens is, and we hear this because we hear people saying, oh, okay, you do that? Some of them are surprised. They thought you could only answer quick questions. Now, I'm going to talk a little bit in this section about why people call today. Now, how do we know this? We do traditional telephone mystery shopping at Kennedy Training Network, and we have a lot of our clients on here today where we have people that call and they act like they're a guest. But that part of our business is hugely shifted to scoring of real calls. We reach out to our clients, cloud-based recording platforms. Could be Ring Central, could be TrackPulse, one of our sponsors. It could be Zoom phone, which is the newest one I'm going to learn more about today. Any way that you record calls, we download those calls, we listen to them. So we get to hear what people are actually asking. And going back to this one, that's why we know that people respond really well. The actual guests that we hear in recorded calls, when you say, hey, by the way, have you made a reservation? I'd be glad to check that. I'm Direct Reservations, or I'm In-House Reservations. I can help you with that. People really respond well, okay? So the other thing that we learned by listening to real calls is we learn why people are still calling us today. Now, first reason, and again, I've talked about these. Some of you have been with me, the people I shouted out for my regulars, you've been with me. Some of you have been with us. This is concluding our second year. You've been with us the whole time. But I want to go back through these again because they are so foundational. Why do people call? They're confused by conflicting information they've read in online reviews. So I'm going to talk about a resort I shout out a lot in our webcast. I was just there 2 weeks ago. Been going there since 2017, at least, I don't know, 10, 12 times. The Nizuc Resort. I love the Nizuc Resort. Well, I love my people there with their heartfelt hospitality. As you've heard me talk about, in fact, Google search Doug Kennedy Nizuc Resort. You'll see how much I love this resort. But I love it also for the architecture. When you actually enter the lobby, as you're walking into the lobby, assuming it's a nice weather, which it has been every time I've been there, they have the doors open to the back wall and you actually look out over the reflecting pond to see the fireball with the bay in the background and the colorful sunlight. Now you're looking at that picture, you're thinking, Doug, that's probably Photoshopped, right? Yeah, well, let me show you the picture that I took there December 5th. Okay, can you tell the difference? I don't think there's much difference here. Maybe, well, not really much different. This is actually a little more blurry because I borrowed it from their website. But what I love about it is how amazing it is. Now, when I went there to train, I looked at their reviews. We looked at their most recent 5-star review from this person here. After so many health complications, it was great to find a hotel to disconnect and relax. Nizuc and did not disappoint. It was beyond my expectation. The staff went above and beyond. The views were breathtaking. The food and drinks were outstanding. Overall, I had an incredible experience. I can't wait to go back. 5.0, okay? Now let's look at the most recent 1-star, okay? 1-star, save your time and money. The food is disappointing. When you visit Mexico, you expect the best tacos and guacamole, but that wasn't the case. Cocktails are $25 more expensive. Massages cost $3.50. I'm not sure they're $3.50, but they didn't talk about what you get with that when you get to experience the spa before and after that massage. But here's the thing that I could not believe. The beach is full of mud and the overall experience has much to be desired. I have been, every time I go there, I go running. This is actually a photo of the beach. Does this beach look muddy? So sometimes you wonder about these people. I don't know. Sometimes you wonder if it's a legit review. But if I'm a potential guest and I'm thinking of taking my wife there for an anniversary, or my partner there for a honeymoon, or the first trip with the baby, or taking mom there. Okay, I wish I could still take my mom. But I'm going to be reading reviews, and when I read that, I'm going to be confused. And when I'm confused, I'm going to see if there's a number. And when I see a number, I'm going to call, and I'm going to say, hello, where are you? And at Nizuc, they say, we are in-house on site, okay? But at your resort, hopefully they can at least say we're Direct Reservations. And they will say, oh, good, because I have a question. Is the beach muddy? Okay. Now, they won't tell you they read it on a review. Second reason they still call, they are overwhelmed. If you go to put in your town and add the word hotel reservation or resort reservation or vacation home reservation, you will see how many choices come up. And people get a sense of choice overload, which is made worse by FOMO, fear of missing out. By the way, all three of these concepts apply to group sales. If you're with us for group and event sales, same thing when planners go to Cvent, the Knot, the Wedding Wire, or they do a Google search. There's so many options. Third reason, value-driven deal seekers. They want to book that reservation, but they're looking for the best price, okay? So for these folks, when they call and say, hi, I'm just checking rate, they're not just checking a rate. Say, oh, sure, I can check that rate for you. Start them into a conversation. Hey, by the way, what brings you in? Have you stayed with us before? As I'm checking rates, yeah, don't worry. As I'm checking those rates, let me ask you a couple of questions. Let me start a conversation. And then they see the rate and they say, okay, thanks, that's the same rate. Wow, I can lock that in for you right now. Well, I have you on the line, okay? And so we talk about all that. In fact, I hope you come back for part 2, which is going to be in February. We're going to look at overcoming the rate objections, overcoming hesitancy, getting them to book now, okay? But let's move on. As a result of these trends, I want to remind us all, it is not our job to help them find what's available. AI can and is doing that better than we can, okay? But it is our job to help them decide that we are the right company, that this is the best option, and that now is the best time. So keep that in mind as your mantra, okay? Don't just do website search support. So this is our new call flow for 2025. This is our hotel and resort version, and this is our vacation rental version. You can see we grouped it into sections to make it easier to understand. And if you want a copy of this, all you have to do is email me or reply to any of the emails that you get from us, and including our newsletter, if you got that today, and say, Doug, please send the call flow, and we will send you a copy of this to have as a job aid, all right? But let's run on through the rest of our content today, doing the basics extremely well, okay? Now, I've covered telephone hospitality a lot in previous webcasts, so we're gonna not talk about that too much, but I am gonna give some of our new content on listening attentively with empathy. But in summary, doing the basics really well makes all the difference. Because I want you to think about when product, place, and price are relatively the same, it is the people that make the difference. So think about it. Place. Are you the only hotel in your neighborhood, in your island, in your destination? Are you the only vacation home rental company? I don't think so. In fact, in vacation rental companies, you might be renting out a house, and right next to you is a house rented by your competitor, or condos in the same resort building. So product, we all tend to have the same amenities and features within the same market segment. And price, with today's advanced revenue management algorithms, whether in the hotel side or the short-term rental side, you see the price is going to be pretty similar. What is left to stand out, folks? It is the people parts, the human part. That's what creates enduring guest loyalty, the conversations we have. Now, I know we talked about this a lot, but I always like to mention it. When we have real conversations with real people, through the magic of satellite transmission, we can touch the hearts of strangers. And that's where people are like, what's your name again? Do I get to meet you? Actually, I'm in a different building in another city, but do I get to meet you? Oh, sure. Do you ever have them ask for you? Do you ever have them say, they'll call back the next year? Do you remember me? Yeah, I only talked to like 5,000 people last year. You hang up the phone, you say, oh, very nice to meet you, Mr. Kennedy. So nice talking with you today. You hang up the phone. How many of you hang up the phone and go, oh, I just talked to the nicest man. He's so nice. Thousands of miles away, hundreds of kilometers away, some guy's going, honey, I just talked to the nicest person. She was so nice. We actually touch the heart of strangers. We've covered that in previous webcasts. Look up Kama Muta on our YouTube channel. But remember to loop it back. Now, this is part of our new content. We do a lot on this, making comments that indicate you get them. Now, don't parrot it back, the exact wording they do at those technology call centers. So if I understand correctly, you currently hate our product and you're presently about to smash your cable box. Yeah, but instead paraphrase it. So let me give you some examples. This is actually a good life skill for listening that a lot of us could remember to just slow down. Listening looping means to have a little bit of pause when the other person is talking, and then to ask follow-up questions instead of just rushing through. You ever talk to the person that has already thought what they maybe ask you a question and they're already thinking about what they're going to say next. So they'll ask you a question like, oh, so tell me, what do you have plans for the holidays? And you start to tell them and they're like, oh, good. Well, let me tell you what I'm going to do. Blah, 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 blah. They're not even present. They just ask you the question because, like, I don't know, they want to make it seem like they actually care about you. But if we just slow down in our lives, oh, I'm guilty of this too. If we just slow down to be present when we connect with other human beings, you know, we have a very bad habit. I think United States is the worst of this. Maybe those of you tuning in today from Amsterdam, we have Ukraine on the call again today. We have so many wonderful people around the world. You know, we have this bad habit in the United States. I don't know if you agree. How are you? Good? Good. We love to answer the own question. So let's move beyond that, folks. What brings you to, now you're not going to say our area. What brings you to Destin? What brings you to Turks and Caicos? What brings you to Hawaii? What brings you to Chicago today? What brings you to, let's go back to a resort. What brings you to Cancun? Oh, just a family vacation. Very good. How many people, right? Or we could say, oh, a family vacation? That sounds fun. Well, actually, it's going to be our last trip before our daughter goes off to join the military. If you've been with me before, you know what to do. We go, aw, aw, aw. Next one. What brings you to our city? Sorry. What brings you to Chicago? City Center Hotels, Candlewood, Holiday Inn. Oh, just a business trip. Oh, very good. What are your dates? No, just pause. A business trip? Well, I hope you have a little time to enjoy Chicago. Actually, my friend lives there and I'm going to be staying an extra day. Okay. So we make that connection by looping it back, but guess what else? We unmask their story. And now we can talk a little bit more about, well, if you're going to have free time, you're going to be centrally located, or we have a nearby attraction to be sure to visit, okay? So loop it back listening. Investigative questions help us control the call. We're going to give some updated versions of these for 2025. This allows us to, we call this, if you've been with us before, this has not changed, unmasking the story. If you ask the right investigative questions, and again, we cover this in group sales. We'll be talking about this at Beaver Run Conference Center on January the 9th or 8th. Ask questions for hotel sales, ask questions for all types of sales, but ask questions today regarding reservation sales. Then you get to the heart of the story, and now you can personalize and contextualize the information you're giving them. All right. So these questions move you from being transactional sounding to conversational sounding, where we have that, oh, and you actually feel like you're talking to a real human being. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is how we differentiate ourselves in 2025. When the rest of the world moves to push calls away to AI, and I always pick on the one brand, when you call, they say, thank you for calling this major brand. Did you know the best way to book us is at our brandname.com? Would you like us to text you the number? Why do they do that? Where do they think we got the phone number from? Remember, make it easy for them to call. And when they call, just ask a question, have those heartfelt conversations. All right. So here's how we get the conversation started. Hey, sure, I'd be glad to double check that rate. Or yeah, we can accommodate 2 vehicles per guest, per accommodation. Have you made a reservation yet? No, I'm going to book online. Can I go ahead and check the dates because I'm direct or in-house reservations? Well, sure. What are your dates? How many nights? And as I'm waiting for the rates, can I ask, have you stayed with us before? Now, I've been training that question for decades. What's better? Have you stayed with us before? Did anything at our website catch your eye? Now, they might say, no, I've never stayed there before, but you know, I was looking at this room type. A lot of my resorts that are with us today, you have a wide range of accommodations from more standardized garden view. Yeah, that's our fancy way of saying parking lot. To the island view, ski lift view, mountain view, or maybe you have the regular room and then you have the 1-bedroom and the 2-bedroom villas. Find out what they're looking at already. We know where to start. What brings you to our town or city? This is good. What's better? Is there anything special I can help you plan? So if you're a full service resort like La Quinta, California, you want to ask this question. Hey, anything special I can help you plan? Yeah, I'm bringing my mother away. We just lost our father, and it's going to be their first time of their anniversary, and so I'm going to take a mother-daughter trip. Wow, how fantastic. Okay, now you find out that story, you say, you know what, let me make some recommendations. Take your mom to the spa. Okay, that's how we make true connections. All right, anything special I can assist you planning with. If you're a vacation home rental company that is with us today, Namron, you guys are all about unreasonable hospitality. You can find out the purpose that they're coming to your lovely Hollywood, California homes, and they're going to be maybe saying, yeah, I'm going to be just my boss is going to be just completing filming a movie, and she wants some time off. And oh well, they want to have a lot of privacy. Oh well, we can assist you with setting up a personal chef. Okay. Now, conversation starter. Hey, as I'm checking those rates, any other questions I can answer for you about a location or amenities? Now, a lot of people that first come to my training are like, why would we want to ask that, Doug? That takes a lot of extra time. Well, I'm going to share with you right now. This allows us to sell value over price, okay? Because if you give a price first, you have become a commodity. But if you sell value, you're selling an experience, all right? So let me give you this example here. This is a hotel example. This is a luxury home rental example or a condo rental example. If you say, what are your dates? How many nights? How many people? How many beds? I got 3 different rooms. I got standard, superior, deluxe. Would you want to book it? You are building your value proposition on a weak foundation that will topple over. If you're selling price, you better have the lowest price in your market segment. But the reality is you probably have the same price as everyone else, okay? Same is true in a vacation rental luxury homes. How many bedrooms, how many nights, how many people? Do you need a pool? Do you need a hot tub? Do you need close to the ski lift? Do you need near the lake? Whatever it is. Okay, here's a list. Can I email it to you? You're a unit renter, okay? And you build it on a weak foundation. So instead, when you say, as I'm checking availability, any questions on our destination or location? Any questions on our locations or amenities and services? And now we get to build value. Also, we get to tell them about all the wonderful things we offer before we top that off with the price. And finally, when you talk about price last, you go right into closing that sale, okay? Once again, concepts that apply if you're selling weddings, groups, functions, conferences. So thank you for joining us, group salespeople. All right, let's finish out this webcast today. We're going to talk about storified selling. Again, a concept that transcends all sales, and then this will conclude part A of Reservation Quest. We have been covering these concepts for as long as we've had Quest, which is about 10 years now. But we have found some new ways to help relate them to you and to your staff that I hope you'll be able to relate to and better utilize them. I like to now use the term storified selling, okay? So storified selling, to storify something is to narrate or describe it in a story, okay? Now, when I came up through sales, it was all about feature, advantage, benefit. We call this FAB. So we have a spa so that you and your mother can relax and unwind during your visit. Okay, that's pretty boring, okay? So storified selling takes feature, advantage, benefit selling to the next level. And it's all reliant upon finding out, unmasking their story about why they're traveling, and then telling the story of what they're imagining playing out at your accommodation and your location of your resort or your destination. Okay, so storified selling. This is a perennial. It's been so strong for years. Be a you seller, not a we seller. Replace we have with you can enjoy. Replace we offer with you will receive. And when we become a you seller, it's just for you. And we don't actually have to say, just for you, there's a pool, just for you, there's a restaurant, just for you, just for you, just for you. But we want to make everything that we talk about say, you can enjoy, you can take advantage of. It's very enticing. It's very alluring. Instead of, we have, we offer, we have, we offer. Or it has, or they have, okay? That makes it sound like we're not part of it, all right? So when we use you selling, we help them imagine what they're going to see, feel, or experience, okay? Secondly, visual, emotionally descriptive language. We actually have a webcast on this, and you can, again, refer back to our YouTube channel to expand our working vocabulary of words and phrases to use habitually. But colorful adjectives and adverbs to help them visualize what it is you're describing, and words that appeal to emotion more than intellect. Nothing new here if you've been with me the whole time, but I do want to add a new concept for this. In 2025, we're going to call them snappy taglines. We're going to give a shout out here to Netflix, because in this article that I read about Netflix success, the concepts they use are vivid, snappy tags. So we're going to build on that and call it a snappy tagline, a reiterated phrase identified with an individual, group, or product. That's the tagline, but they're going to be snappy, okay? So if you actually read this, and many of you may be Netflix subscribers, remember the good old days? Was it like $5.95? They never busted us. I'd have both of my kids. We had 4 households sharing one password. No more, okay? They moved the price up because they can, because they're successful, okay? And when you do, and you've watched all the shows that you just finished one and now you're ready for the next one, you do that search, or it actually recommends for you. But then what catches you is descriptive tags that they run, like Slick for the show Suits. They have proven crucial for getting people to play and to keep paying the subscription without commercials. You ever done the subscription with commercial? Like right at the moment of passion, when the knife is about to go either in or be deflected from the killer's hands. Commercial! And then it puts the timer on there like, yeah, if you didn't pay, you know, if you would have paid, you wouldn't be watching this clock countdown. But they're really good at what they do, folks. The 2 or 3 word tags convey the gestalt of a show. That means the core essence of the meaning, okay? And they're actually done by about 30 employees, and their job is being a tagger. What do you do? Oh, I'm a tagger for Netflix. People imagine you're chasing people around the room. Tag. That'd be a fun company to work for. But a tagger is actually a job. Now, if anybody goes to Trader Joe's, and Trader Joe's, their volume per square foot, I don't remember the actual number, something like 10 times revenue spent per square footage in that store. And hugely successful store. A lot of what we go there for is we go there for those little frozen, ready-to-eat meals, or we go there for the little jars of jam. And if you read the descriptors, they're much better than the standard supermarket, okay? They actually have the person that is in charge of writing their taglines is called the Director of Words and Phrases, okay? So work in concepts like this. I've had this up before. Grab it if you don't have it. Screen cap. Visually, emotionally descriptive words. Words that appeal to emotion, not intellect. Okay, I'll go back. And emotional words, in case you are following along and you do want a screen capture. All right. So use these snappy taglines for any features that you're describing. Okay. So I'm going to wrap up here now, but first I'm going to give you homework. Yes, you do have homework over the holidays. Either you're going to have some vacation time, or probably with 2 weeks with the holidays in the middle, you're probably going to be working one of those 2 weeks. And if you're either going to be at a slow office, or if you're at one of those resorts that has festive season, that's what they call it in the Caribbean, everybody's going to be checked in and you're going to have a little downtime. So do your homework for Doug. Make a list of your most important selling points of your destination, your location, your amenities and services. Look at the bullets listed on the home pages of your websites, okay? Then what I challenge you all to do is to print out pages from your website and take a highlighter and identify the descriptive words, phrases, the taglines that the copywriter who created your website already did the work for you, okay? And then use those words, phrases, or taglines in your own words. Write up how you would explain these concepts to other people. And if you do this, you're going to find that it gives you a tool to kind of practice until it flows like a dance step, or it flows like when you learn to play an instrument. Instead of when you first learn to play an instrument where you learn the scale, and then pretty soon you're riffing, okay, on a lead guitar or a piano. You want it to flow. So this is your scale, to use the analogy of a musical instrument. This is your dance step, to use the analogy of a dancer, partner dancing, or putting on a dance show. So you want it to flow, and it starts with practicing, just like those culinary people do when they describe food at the fine dining restaurant. Okay, so, and wrap up here, Reservation Quest 2025 Part A. Thank you for, I was just checking our count. We have over half of you have attended live. That really means a lot, especially with all the different time zones. And as you know, it's a day that a lot of people are off. Thank you, Track, a TravelNet solution, for sponsoring us this year. Travel Outlook, the premier call center, as well as for signing on for next year. It's not overlooked. And please join us in January. We're going to talk about being a lightning rod to ground the negativity and be unaffected when we have the difficult guest, the customer that's yelling, screaming, and mad. And then we can ground that negativity, and then we can disperse it, and we're unaffected. And then in February, we'll do Reservation Quest Part 2. And then if you join us in March, we're going to do a general sales training for all sales. Look for us on YouTube. We have our YouTube videos. We have our YouTube podcast. You can also find us on Spotify. Check out also on our YouTube, we have 2 other playlists. We have Kate's video tip. We are so blown away by Kate every month. This month for December, she did her video tip, which was using kind of a spoof on the Wicked. So you'll see how she's used AI here. And then we've also got into the game of YouTube Shorts. If you are a manager and you want to have the videos you can show at your pre-shift lineups or your departmental meetings, or to share in your intercompany social media, these are all here. They're at our website under training resource. So please, if you're interested, reach out. I'll give you my email in a moment. On-site training, live webcam training, small group, not like this webcast, but interactive. Conference speaking, if you're planning a conference or if you're part of a local tourism association, would love to have me out. We do the telephone mystery shop, or we score recorded calls, okay? And we do webcam coaching for both sales and hospitality, all right? So thank you, everyone. Have a wonderful, let's see, what do we have coming up? Hanukkah and Christmas are falling really close together this year. Happy New Year. We all celebrate. Kwanzaa, Festivus for the rest of us. Just have a wonderful time wherever you are around the world. Embrace your loved ones, and we look forward to seeing you in January for being a lightning rod on guest negativity. Thank you again.